Let's talk about week 10, beyond these dojo walls, becoming a community asset, how to turn your school into a local force for good. How does the community see your school? Either the community is going to decide what your school is doing, or you're going to decide what the community sees. So don't just run a dojo, build a community pillar. Position your school as a source of service, safety, and leadership. Engage outside your walls, and that creates trust, visibility, and referral. Hey everyone, Sifu Aaron Huey here. Thank you so much for joining me on week 10 of the IMAC Impact Business Development class. Let's get started with this week's session and help you guys and gals get this martial arts business that you've got going scaled and launched, take off to the next level, everything to get you where you want to be. So maybe you can make your business as incredible as your martial arts talent. So let's get focused on that. This is week 10, and this is one of my favorite ones to talk about, and that's community outreach and engagement. This is literally how I built my martial arts business, to be from a little school inside my garage, just like so many of us, and my very first instructor, Sensei Stevens, in his garage in Longmont, Colorado, all the way up to a wonderfully massive program that it has affected people worldwide. It's how I leveraged my connection to the community and created engagement. Let's get this started. The National Martial Arts Council of America is presenting Impact, the 6 business essentials to you, so that you're not just a martial arts master, but that you also create martial arts business mastery. So this is all the tips, the tools, the tactics, the tricks, and the techniques for a business. Just those amazing kicks, punches, and ground game. These are the 6 business success essentials. Number 1 is your influence. You can't make an impact without influence. Number 2 is your messaging. You can't be the invisible man or the invisible woman here. Build it and they will come does not exist. Persuasion. You cannot convince people that you cannot persuade. Persuasion is its own tactic. It's its own technique. Fraction. You can't enroll them if they don't come. How do they show up in the first place to have that free class, to get that free uniform, to experience that one-time event where they go, I'm going back? Connection. If you can't communicate, you can't connect. We all need to work on our communication skills. And then transformation. You can't influence and train them. They will not transform under your care. So let's talk about week 10, beyond these dojo walls, becoming a community asset, how to turn your school into a local force for good. Again, this is where I truly found the most energy. I did not hang a shingle and wait for the students to come. I did not do social media marketing and hope that parents saw and gave me a shot. I got out into my community and I started making changes in my community. I want to say very quickly as I get started, one of the things that really transformed me when I was getting, in the very beginning, when I opened my martial arts school, at the same time I was going through the 12-step program and getting sober after 14 years of addiction. And I remember sitting inside one of the 12-step meetings one time, commiserating with another person about the war in Bosnia during the Clinton administration. And we were back and forth and what was really going on and who was really behind it, on and on. And my sponsor walked in and I said to him, well, what do you think about the war in Bosnia? And he said, I don't. I know the kids in my community. I know their names. I know their parents' names. I know what's happening on my street. I can't change the world, but I can affect what's happening on the block that I live. And that's where I'm going to start, because that's where I have my impact. And you guys, that stuck with me. And so that changed my focus from trying to figure out what's going on in the world, making sure I knew what was going on in my community. To help others to develop and succeed in their life as a reward in itself and only has value when nothing is expected in return. This was the key to building that success, was getting out there and helping my community because it was the right thing to do. So how does the community see your school? Because honestly, either the community is going to decide what your school is doing, or you're going to decide what the community sees. So who's deciding how the community sees you? So don't just run a dojo, build a community pillar. Position your school as a source of service, safety, and leadership. Engage outside your walls, and that creates trust, visibility, and referral. This means we learn how to serve before we sell. What are we doing in our community to make sure that these kids, these women, these men are safe from being bullied, from being attacked, being able to defend themselves, to fight back? How do we show up and serve before we ever say, by the way, I have a product for you? So show up as a helper, not an advertiser. Join community events to contribute, not just to pitch. Volunteer at festivals, charity runs, and local drives, and sponsor youth teams or support civic causes with action, not flyers. When you give first, people want to know your story later. You guys, in advanced marketing strategies, this is called purpose branding. When they see you involved in a shelter drive to gather food for the homeless, or to make sure that babies in your community have enough diapers, or to make sure that kids in the schools know what to do on a lockdown situation, or that women in your local college town have an opportunity to protect themselves. When they see your name constantly out there, they want to know why. Bring martial arts to them. Offer those anti-bullying and confidence talks at school. I never once charged for a school talk in my community. I never once told the school, I will come and talk and here's how much you're going to pay me. Because every time I showed up, I left with students. I left with parents who needed my advice and ended up becoming clients of the coaching practice. I ran after school workshop and teacher defense workshop. I shared my martial arts value as a life skill: focus, respect, mindset, self-control, discipline. This is more than just what we're doing in the dojo. This is what people need for their life. You don't need a new building to make a bigger impact. New buildings cost money. Serving your community costs you time. Be the dojo that gives back. Time for us to host the free defense seminars for women, for seniors. Time for us to offer children's safety and stranger awareness programs. Get out there and partner with pediatricians, counselors, physical therapists who also share your mission. And every event you offer is going to create that story that people will share with others. So here's your 90-day community challenge. Within the next 90 days, identify 3 community events to volunteer or participate in. Contact 2 local elementary schools to offer a free anti-bullying or safety presentation. Build a relationship with at least 1 complementary business: pediatric office, the counselor, the physical therapist, the police department, the Freemasons, a church. That list keeps going. There are people out there who need people like us to help people like your future students. Be the first one in line with your hand up to say, what do you need? As always, through the Martial Arts Hall of Fame and the Shihan University, there is a way for you to grow your school. At Shihan University, there's more tips, tools, insights, and resources in all of these things listed here below. So go to shihanuniversity.com and let us help you help your community. And IMAC is the Independent Martial Arts Association for the martial arts entrepreneur. Something I've always appreciated what John Terry said is very simply this: you could be the greatest martial artist. If you struggle in business, your martial arts will struggle. So bring your business skills up to your martial arts skills. Join us at Shihan University. Watch all these free programming that Professor John Terry and I are putting out. And we'll see you next time with IMAC Impact. Thanks so much. Talk soon.